Hey, Chris Liepe here with more Maynard isolated vocals. This time around, we've got a perfect circle song, The Outsider. But first, a couple weeks ago, I released a Tool song, isolated vocal analysis, Vicarious, and I left off the end of that analysis because the isolated vocals that I had were a very low quality, and the end, it just got so bad, I was like, I don't even want to include this. But I have included the end at the beginning of this video, and I found tracks that were not completely isolated, but they sound a whole lot better. So before we get into the Perfect Circle song, we're going to do the end of the Tool song. And I know a lot of you will go, oh, thank you, because the end is the best part. I agree. Before we get into this, please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you'd like more help with your voice and you'd like my personal help, the best place to start is by clicking the link below and joining my free vocal course. I've also left links to some of the other videos I've just referenced down there as well.
We all feed on tragedy.
So I talked about this in the last video, but it's worth mentioning here again. Listen to his tone here and how much air it sounds like he's using.
We all feed.
It's a whisper, but not completely. This isn't, we all feed. He's not singing quietly. And he's also not doing, we all feed. This is, we all feed, we all feed, we all feed. Now, a lot of times when people try to sing that way, it immediately makes them cough and it tickles in their throat. The key here is we need to open up the bottom of our throat. That's kind of how we want to think about it. And engage the top of our throat. We all feed. We all feed. You should be holding back air and disengaging your vocal cords. And then gradually add in your primary chords. That's how he gets this really raspy, breathy sound.
We all feed.
We all feed. We all feed. It's a combination of good chord closure, primary chord closure. We all feed. That's different again than we all feed or we all feed. It's this aggressive, whispery sound.
On tragedy.
Really hear it there. On tragedy. Tragedy. Don't feel bad about exaggerating this as you try to get those 2 points of engagement connected. I cover this a lot more in my Aggressive Vocalist's Master Plan of Attack course, which you can also join by clicking one of the other links below.
On tragedy.
Listen to how his breath goes out of that. Tragedy. And then it ends up being really just that breath. Next phrase.
It's like blood to a vampire.
You can hear another track back there if you listen really carefully.
It's like blood to a vampire.
There's a double there, and there's another one of him going, vampire, vampire. Blood. He's just doing that. So there's this layering, and if you listen really carefully, it's enhanced by that layer. Yes, he absolutely is using this raspy compression I'm talking about, but then there's also him doing just this without the tone. Vampire. Sneaky stuff, but super cool. That cool swirling effect at the beginning. If you listen to more of that, there's this, it almost sounds like this sample splitting sort of thing on the vocals combined with some reverb. It's really, really neat. But here, he is doubling himself in such a way that brings out different qualities of his voice. Listen again. There's totally this vicariously. A powerful head voice. He's not vicariously. Well, he's more energetic in a minute, but vicariously. Pure head voice, no vibrato. And he's layering that in with his typical Maynard, punchy vocals. Listen again. You hear this in the outskirts, and then you hear the vicariously. You hear that going on as well. Vicariously. Listen to the next phrase. Now, that H. Live. That's how he comes into it. Live. How he gets into that H, though. Live while the whole world dies. If you want more help developing this gritty, false chord engagement, pitch screaming, aggressive singing, definitely check out those links below. But I've done a lot of other videos on the channel about this too. This H gives you a lot of clues as to, in not only with desperation in terms of adding that to your voice, but he's having to interrupt that sound and kind of reset. Ho! Ho! That's a handy thing to just do, right? Don't worry about doing the whole phrase. Worry about zoning in on just that and then adding stuff over the top of it in terms of throat engagement. Ho! 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 I'm combining the two. And if you get these placed right, you don't mess up your voice while you're doing it. Dies! Dies! Last phrase. Much better you than I. I love how Maynard closes up like that. Then I. Listen again. You can hear those other clean doubles behind. Here how the other one pans, the one that's panned over here comes in. Super cool. Let's transition to the perfect circle song and discover more cool things, both from a vocal perspective and a production perspective.
Help me if you can. It's just that this is not the way I'm wired, so could you please help me understand why?
Lots of stuff that we just talked about is in play here, but there's a few specific things I want to draw our attention to.
It's not the way I'm wired, so
you can hear him going in and out of these different forms of angst via compression.
It's not the way.
It's not the way I'm. That's a really good thing to experiment with. Start clean.
It's not the.
It's not the way I'm. Back off your airflow, and at the same time you're backing off your airflow, worry about what kind of push you're doing. It's not the way I'm. Really good things to take away.
It's not the way I'm wired, so could you please help me understand why?
Another great example of that here, although more subtle.
Help me understand.
Help me.
Help me.
Help me understand. He's really gritting it up for a few notes or a few phrases or a part of a phrase, but he's so in control of adding that grit. And this isn't a terribly high thing. He can add grit low, or high. And he has such a wonderful command over that.
You've given in to all these.
You've given in. Hear how much air he's holding back there? You've given in. You've given in.
You've given in to all these.
You can hear his breath going down there. All right, listening through.
Reckless dark desires.
Another example.
You're lying to yourself again. Suicidal imbecile. Think about it. Pounding on a fault line. What'll it take to get it through to you, precious? Over this, why do you want to throw it away like this? Over this.
I love his humming that he does a lot of times before he'll go into a line, right? Like this one.
Over this.
Over this! Over this! It's like he's channeling something and then delivering the line. And I think it's a great way with our own vocals to kind of center before we deliver a line. I don't know if that's the way he's thinking about it, but it's certainly a cool way to think about it, even if he's not.
Over this, why do you want to throw it away like this?
The rhythm on that line is really neat, but over this, why do you want to throw it away like this?
Over this, why do you want to throw it away like this?
Like this. Compression. Compression in chest voice is the name of the game for Maynard, but moderating it dynamically. He is not a one-trick compression guy. It goes all over the place, and that's what we've been talking about so far, but I can't overstate that. I can't overstate it. By working with single notes, different vowels, different placements, and bringing that compression in and out, you will start to figure out how Maynard approaches his incredible dynamics. Moving on.
Such a mess, why would I want to watch you?
Another great example.
Disconnect and self-destruct, one bullet at a time.
Now this is such a cool contrast to where we just were here.
Why would I want to watch you?
Ooh, why would I want to watch you? Ooh, why would I want to watch? Right? But then we have this.
Disconnect.
Notice how he's centering himself again there. Disconnect and self. There's this clean desperation. It's much thinner.
Connect and self.
And self. And self. It does kind of sound like he's reaching a little bit. Disconnect and self-destruct. But then he goes down into his chestier sound. This is totally fine for him to do, that sort of reached, thinner sound. Disconnect and self. That's great if you can do it intentionally. It's part of his tonal palette.
Self-destruct, one bullet at a time.
He's very clean, that whole line.
Bullet
at a time. Different kind of compression, definitely. This is not just bullet eyes holding back air bright forward. Bullet at a time. Again, a great contrast. He combines that reach, bullet, and then brings it down to a clean compression there.
What's your rush now?
Same melody here.
What's your rush now? Everyone will have his day to die.
He's full on belt with his compression-based grit there, that subtle stuff.
Everyone.
See, he starts everyone with an H.
Everyone will have his day to die.
Have his day to die. I would take that phrase, have his day to die, and workshop that. Have his day to die. Do it. Have his day to die. Have his day to die. Have his day to die. See how extreme you can get it. Reach for it. Clean it up. Really grit it up. Add compression. Exploit that vocal break. And see what else you can get out of it. Pull it all from what Maynard's doing, because he's doing it all in various sections. Next.
Medicated drama queen.
Nice doubles here.
Picture perfect non-belligerence. Narcissistic
Ooh.
Drama queen.
This narcissistic here.
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic. That exhale is absolutely a compressed exhale, like we talked about already. The doubles are bringing that out really nicely.
Narcissistic. Drama queen. Craving fame and knowledge. Decadence lying through your teeth again. Suicidal in my soul. Think about it. Pounding on a fault line. Will it take to get it through to you, precious? Over this, why you wanna throw it away?
Again, and I love this about his voice.
Over this, why you
over this, over this. Great thing to work into your own singing.
like this? Such a mess, why would I wanna watch you?
Ooh, that articulation there is different than the last time.
Why would I wanna watch you?
Oh, you, why would I wanna watch you? Notice how does he clean it up?
Watch you.
Yeah, it's very clean there to add that articulation. Really neat.
Disconnect and self-destruct, one bullet at a time.
He's much more fully engaged there. He's not thin. Doesn't have that reach sound. Still does that pre-center, right?
Disconnect and self-destruct.
And self-destruct. Disconnect. Whereas last time it was disconnect and self-destruct. He's much more on it this time.
What's your rush now? Everyone will have his day to die.
Nice delay throw there, automated delay in there.
To die.
This sounds like a punch, maybe. That's kind of cool sounding.
Day to die.
Or they moved that last word. You can hear a bit of discrepancy there, a little punch that you couldn't normally hear in the original or in the full recording. All right, now we've got some cool effects to go over.
They were right about you. They were right about you.
This is really neat, and I've set up a chain that mimics what we've got going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn those on here. First, we've got a very, very short space reverb. This is a room. Then we've got a little bit more. It's more of a bigger room or a hall. I think it's a small hall. Hey, you can hear that. But what's really interesting is this. Yeah. Let's look at this chain. But first, I'm going to turn it off so we don't drive myself and everybody else crazy. I've got an Echo Boy, but you can use any delay that's synced to roughly, it's synced to eighth notes is what it sounds like. But we've got the feedback up quite a bit. We've got the mix at 100%, and we have this on a separate aux track so that it is operating independently of the main voice. The key to the sound, as I'm hearing it here, is that the delay is mono, but then we've got a stereo reverb after it. And I've got a small plate reverb, which it's ironic that I'm saying glassy sound, but a plate reverb is a little bit glassier sounding than a normal room reverb. So when I turn this on and I engage vocally like he does,
They were right about you.
they were right about you. They were right about you. They were right about you. there's this accentuation of articulations, and you hear that nice sharp attack, but it is widened just a little bit. It doesn't sound totally wide, but it's widened just a little bit by this short room. Here is the delay again without the room. Notice how centered it is, but then we put a little bit of reverb on that delay. This is a tape delay. I've got a high cut, so the sibilance isn't as bad. You could also mess with the saturation. I've also got a low cut. This kind of sound, it works perfectly in this particular setup, but it's really fun to play with and feel how your voice reacts, singing his line and singing other lines. Let's compare one more time with what he's got going on here.
They were right about you.
His feedback is jacked up, man. I mean, it's really up. And I love how he starts in that subtle fry. They were, and the delay picks that up. They were it's maybe too much feedback. They were right about you. Moving on.
They were right about you.
I love how that continuing delay
Lying to my face again.
almost creates these harmonies because of the way it's delaying.
Lying to my face again. Suicidal imbecile. Think about it. You're pounding on a fault line. What'll it take to get it through to you, precious?
Oh, what'll it take? Oh, what'll it take to get it through to you, precious? There's so much angst there, but what I'm noticing here, and I've got these reverbs on still, the presence of the short reverb on his voice is there in a way mix-wise that it wasn't earlier.
What'll it take to get it through to you, precious? Over
There's a little bit of delay on there now.
this, why you wanna throw it away like this? Such a mess over there.
This is not an uncommon thing to have the effects be wetter as the song progresses. It gives it a slightly different space.
Over this.
All right, that last word and that grit that he has where it just falls apart. It's a wonderful sounding grit. This is where, to get there, we need to exploit our vocal break.
Such a mess.
So, such a mess, compressed chest.
Such a mess over this. Over this.
Of course, he's not going quite that drastic right away. Listen to the word.
Over this. Over this.
Get that note, and then let it fall apart. Add more air. That is how we name that pitch. Work up to it. Let your voice crack and lean into it. That's how you get that really healthy, cool grit that doesn't trash your voice. And he's really into it here at the end.
Disconnect and self-destruct, one bullet at a time.
One bullet at a time. All about airflow management.
What's your hurry? will have his day to die.
He totally didn't need to take breaths there. That's part of the phrasing, right? That's what makes what he does so cool. All the variations.
One will have his day.
Have his day too! Like he's acting like he's running out of breath. It creates more desperation. Have his day to die! So cool.
Day to die. If you choose to.
Notice the doubles coming in. Listen here.
Disconnect and self-destruct.
So that timbre, based on the doubles, now there's more doubling here.
If you choose to pull the trigger, should your drama.
I don't think that there's more doubling. I think that the doubled tracks are louder there at the end.
Prove sincere, do it somewhere far away from here.
Now, that note is the same as the scream coalesce earlier, right? But
do it somewhere far away from here.
he is intentionally cleaner there. Far! And you can hear a real clean track behind him as well. Far away from here. You can totally hear that going on in the background. Far away from here. But then you hear the more aggressive up front main line. Far away from here. Combined with far away from here. Far away from here. Far away from here. Far away from. Practice going in and out of both of those so your voice doesn't get too used to doing one or the other. That is one of Maynard's secrets, why he can still sing so well after all these years. He goes in and out of so many different textures all the time, within one line, within background vocals to main vocals. You listen to him live, it's the same sort of thing. So, pull that away. Varied textures, varied tones, not all about screaming, it's not all about being aggressive. It's about resonance and variety. I have so much fun breaking down Maynard's vocals. There are probably going to be more on the channel. Be sure you check out Vicarious, also, if you haven't already. And again, if you'd like more help with your voice, the best place to start is by clicking that link below and joining my free voice course. We'll see you for more.